Mike wanted to touch on our down and out series. We'll continue that as we get closer to the end of the regular season this Friday. And today we're focusing on the Ottawa Senators, who have missed the playoffs yet again. Been a tough season in Ottawa in the sense, Mike, that I think a lot of people were expecting this team to be better than they were, to take that next step in the process. When you look at the Sens, what stands out as the number one priority for this team heading into the offseason?
Well, they need support players. Right now, they have an amazing core of young talent. I mean, when you look at Kachuk and Batherson and Norris, Brown, Shabbat, like there's a lot of players to really like in that locker room that are going to be good for a long time. I didn't even mention Stutzla. So that's what you have as your base, but you can't expect just the young guys to carry the mail. You have to support them and surround them with quality veterans, with leaders. Not that I mean, Brady Kachuk, great leader, but you need more of that in the room. So if the Canucks or sorry, if the Senators are just going to wheel out another lineup that's 15 million bucks under the salary cap, they're not going to be successful next year. I mean, don't tell that to the Rangers or the Predators this year who aren't up against the cap, but just about every other decent team is. And like Frank, I just don't know where Ottawa goes in terms of spending right now, considering when Eugene Melnick passed, for what we can understand, the team was put into the hands of his two daughters who live in Barbados, and I'm not sure their interest level. So what's the plan here? Will they spend? That's what it comes down to for me, Frank. They just need more and better to support that young talent.
I think they'll spend. I think this is the year that they know they need to, break through, I think, and make up some ground on the Atlantic Division. You take a look at those teams at the top, they're going to be really tough to catch and to try and break into that playoff position. But you're also kind of right near the floor as well, the salary cap floor, and probably will need to spend a bit. When you talk about surrounding this team, Mike, with proper veterans, are you surprised that they traded away a player like Nick Paul instead of re-signing him to what probably could have been a contract that could have been had 4 years, 3 million, something like that, when you've got a homegrown player that has developed into a nice support player, as you mentioned? Is he someone that the Sens should have kept?
I thought so. And I thought it came down to not a lot of money to be able to keep him. And it's the bigger message. It was yet another homegrown talent that walked away. And you can go down the list. I mean, Mark Stone, Nick Paul, I know those two are in a little bit different category, but it just keeps happening. I will put one caveat on this with Ottawa, Frank. I think they're actually in a pretty good place with goaltending. Forsberg was really good this year. And I know Murray's been in and out of the lineup, but at least going into next year, they're pretty stable there. I wouldn't say great or top end, but I think it's not necessarily their biggest concern.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have said that last summer given the concerns about Murray. And you're right. The way that Forsberg has stepped up has certainly been a nice improvement for the Ottawa Senators. I wonder what they do on their back end to maybe get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit better there as well. They have some players coming. And another name that's been kicked around a lot. What happens with Ottawa resident Claude Giroux this summer, a pending unrestricted free agent, as he embarks on his playoff run with the Florida Panthers, where he's been north of a point per game player since being acquired by the Cats. And a lot of people are wondering, will the Sens go after a player like Giroux to help fill out their lineup? And I think it makes it a lot easier if Giroux and the Cats go on a deep, long run and perhaps hoist that
Yeah.
Stanley Cup. Then all of a sudden, maybe changes a little bit of the equation for Giroux, who doesn't have to chase that cup quite as much and can be in a really comfortable setting and scenario.